Welcome to the Amex Stadium as Brighton and Spurs have just kicked off here. I'll give you the two lineups in just a second. We're live on the JB Clark YouTube channel, and I'll give you the two teams as soon as we get a break in play. But I can tell you that Spurs are in the light blue strip and they're taking the goal to our, to our left in the first half. We've had 2 minutes, nothing significant happened. And it's Brighton in the blue and white stripes attacking to the right in the first half. Let me just run through the two 11s very quickly. Ryan in goal, then it's Webster, Dunk, Burnham, Montoya, Gross, Stevens, Moy, Alzati, Mopai, the signing from Brentford, and Connolly. On the bench, Button, Bong, Basuma, Baloing, Yakenbach, Murray and March. As the ball is worked into the penalty area from the far side, and the goalkeeper dropped it, and it's in for Brighton! Another mistake from Hugo Lloris, and Mopai strikes after 3 minutes. Well, what a start there. We've just joined you, and we've just joined you in time for an opening goal of the weekend, and Lloris is down prostate on the ground. Will VAR disallow it? I'll give you the Tottenham side in just a second, but we've had an incident here. A goal has been scored. But was there a foul on the keeper? It's 1-0 to Brighton, and they have become a cropper with VAR decisions. No doubt about it, he wasn't challenged. It is a goal. Lloris, off balance, hurts himself when dropping that ball, and Mopai, the Brentford striker, the former Brentford striker I should say, stoops and conquers in from a yard out, but Lloris has injured himself clear, and Tottenham's weak, getting from bad to worse. I'll give you the lineups in just a second. As we just see another replay, it's definitely a goalkeeping mistake, so it's Lloris. Let me just run through that Spurs lineup as Graham Potter salutes Brighton scoring. The goal will stand, it's 1-0 Brighton. Let me give you the two lineups. Lloris, giving you the Brighton lineup, let me give you the lineup. Lloris at the moment is in goal, but it could be in some doubt. Gazaniga's on the bench. Then it's Sissoko, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Davis, Dyer, Undembele, Ericsson, Lamella, Kane and Son on the bench. At the moment it could well be a substitution because Gazaniga's about to come on, so he's going to come on. And then it's Davison, Sanchez, Winks, Ali, Foyth, Lucas, Mora and Oliver Skip. The referee John Moss from West Yorkshire. We've had 4 minutes gone, and we've had a lengthy delay of about 3 minutes. The goal stands for Brighton. Unfortunately, Hugo Lloris, who had a torrid week in midweek, as you remember on the JB Clark YouTube channel, he shipped 7 goals against Bayern Munich, and now has injured himself in dropping a ball which should have been regulation for him unless he slipped over. It looks like he's hurt his shoulder. No doubt that Mopai was able to come in there, and of course he's having gas in air and oxygen. This is not looking good for Spurs, who, as I said before, his week's goal, this is probably the worst week of the lot. We've just joined in time for a Brighton goal, but there's a real serious hold-up if you've just joined us. Harry Kane, the England captain, named in the latest England squad. Dele Alli isn't amongst the party of 23 that will go in there, and that's a big blow for France as well, with their international break coming on the horizon as well. So Gazaniga will take the place in goal. Eric Dyer and Son look on very concerningly at the moment. This is a real concern, I have to tell you. In case you joined us late, Mopai has just put Brighton ahead, and we've joined the game joined the action just in the nick of time. But we're going to have a big hold up here, I'm afraid. It's been some 4 minutes since the goal, and Hugo Lloris is on oxygen, gas and air and all sorts here. And we've got a massive break in play, and Gazaniga patiently waiting to come on here. There is a lot of concern. Let's have a look at the ball again. It was a crossing from the far side, and it caused the goalkeeper to fall. I think it was on his shoulder, I think. There's no doubt Mopai had put the ball in. The Brighton goal has to stand. I don't think there's much doubt about that, because there was no foul. Lloris spoke quite clearly, but he's injured himself in making that mistake, unless he's, well, I'm not sure what's happened there. Has he jarred a knee? Has he injured his knee, or has he injured a shoulder? I mean, seen firsthand what happened to Tom Heaton a couple of years ago at Burnley against Crystal Palace, watching as a Burnley fan. I can appreciate this. It could be a long time out if it's a shoulder job here for Lloris, which means Gazzaniga, who's probably hoping for a relaxing afternoon on the bench, he's now going to get his opportunity. We're coming up towards 7 minutes gone, and the delay now has been at least a good 4 or 5 minutes. But I can tell you Brighton have scored in that incident. There was clearly no foul on the goalkeeper. Maupay had every right to head the ball into the back of the net. So there's no debate about Brighton scoring. And there's no debate to begin with. But the concern at the moment is for the Tottenham captain, Hugo Lloris, who hurt himself in making the error which led to Maupay's close range header. Dropping the ball. Unless he's injured, I'm not sure how he's injured it. But the medical staff, there's a paramedics there. They're all bundled in that goal. There's a few anxious looks on faces. Hopefully it's just a precautionary measure and Lloris is going to be fine, but that was some hold up. 4 or 5 minutes. And Luke Hayton's on hello. I'm very excited for this game. It will be close. It will be close, mate, that's for sure. Lloris is now getting a polite round of applause from all 4 sides of the Amex Stadium, I can tell you. And well done the Brighton fans. They acknowledged that this is a serious situation. And Gazzaniga will take on Lloris, who gets a nice ovation, but I'm sure he'd like to still be playing. And I just hope and pray it's nothing too serious. And a torrid week for Tottenham has got even worse, so we're back underway. So we're going to probably have 5 or 6 minutes of, no doubt, 5 or 6 minutes of stoppage time here as Brighton lead by a goal to 0. And it's Maupay now leading the charge down the far side. And that's surely got to be a foul there on number 46. On number 44, Connolly, sorry. And Spurs now in a little bit of trouble because Sissoko is fouled there. Or has fouled his man there. Brighton in complete control now. And now with a new goalkeeper in. Big hole coming into this Gazzaniga. Won't have had a chance to warm up. We've had 9 minutes of the match since the first whistle, but we've had a 5-minute delay because of the injury. A sad injury to Hugo Lloris, but it's Brighton 1 up, and as the free kick comes into the penalty area, it comes out, and the volley shot. Oh, it was Dale Stephens with the right footed volley, and another player's down injured in blocking that shot. Dale Stephens with the shot. Nicely worked free kick to the edge of the area. Stephens, that was going places, I think, and another injury now for Spurs, whose bad news keeps on spreading after another, and with that goal from Maupay, I should tell you, that's the 20th goal we've covered live on the JB Correct YouTube channel this week alone. I can tell you that Jan Vertonghen is okay, and Lloris is it's a sad sight, one of the sad sights of football, that seeing Lloris taken off like that. Here's Pascal Gross with a corner from the near side. Better this time from Spurs in the defensive area. 10 minutes gone. If you joined us late, you've missed. Well, Brighton have scored, but that's not half the story. Hugo Lloris making a mistake which led to a goal for Neil Maupay, who's actually been flagged offside, by the way, on the far side. In making that error which led to the goal, he's injured himself. We're not sure what it is. It could be a jarred knee, it could be a dislocated shoulder. If it's a dislocated shoulder, that's out for the rest of the season, no doubt about it, and that curtails Tottenham's season once and for all. Tottenham, who have had a bad few months since competing in that Champions League final against Liverpool. Here's Gross now on the near side for Brighton. 1-0 up and still looking for that first win against Spurs in Premier League football. And here's Maupay bundling his way into the area. Still a chance there for Brighton, and Spurs are all over the place again. And Spurs, whose season hasn't really took off as well as it might have expected. There's been all sorts of rumours at ballroom level, at managerial level. Would Pochettino still be here this season? Well, if Pochettino was a dead man walking after Tuesday night, then he's in even bigger problem. Now he's lost his captain in very sad circumstances. 2 or 3 changes on Dembele, who actually was one of the brighter stars in the Tottenham display on Tuesday. But we've had 5.5 minutes of a delay here, I'm afraid, at the Amex Stadium, and Pi can't control the long ball forward, and it's going out for a Spurs throw midway side, around half down on the near side. Well, one thing is for certain. One thing is absolutely a given. This is not going the way as it would have expected. But Spurs need to react very well, and they need to act well in adversity to end what's been a dismal week on a real high. They need to make something work now as they look to go forward now with Lamela back to Alderweireld. Thank you, Football News. Thank you for the subscription. The subscriptions, by the way, have been going up thick and fast in the last few weeks since we've been back on YouTube, and we thank you all for your continued support and loyalty to the channel. We're a channel that's been giving you goals this season, that's for sure. No, just a 1-0 so far. That was at Aston Villa the other week on the Monday night game. But apart from that, every other game we've brought you a goal, and we've brought you 20 already this week. We are the YouTube channel that keeps on giving. We've brought you live commentary on 20 goals this week alone. We brought you 19 on, we brought you 2 on Monday, another 9 on Tuesday, another 7 on Wednesday, and already today we've brought you 1 already. I know it's ended in sad circumstances where Hugo Lloris, who's now probably been taken into an ambulance and whisked off to the local hospital in Brighton, and obviously get some checks done and all that. And obviously you can't take risks when a player of Lloris or a player of any stature is injured. It's safety is paramount, and the delay was about 5.5 minutes, but it had to be done, health and safety reasons and all that jazz. As Alderweireld knocks the ball out of play, so throw into Brighton, who lead 1-0, and level with the edge of the penalty area on the right hand side. Pascal Gross now, the German, to take it, and he throws it back. And Brighton trying to build down something down this near side, and they've done really well. And a chance here. Oh, that might be a penalty. Well, I thought for a moment that might have been a case for a penalty. John Moss in charge of things. Good football here. Gross playing the ball in, and it was number 46, Alzate, who went in there. But I think the defender got back here. Let's have a look on this angle. No, he gets the ball there. Gets the ball for me. So a fair tackle. I'll remind you the rest of the officials when we get a couple of minutes left of play. And now the ball back to Matt Ryan, who's been a virtual spectator from minute 1. We'll have a lot of sympathy for his fellow goalkeeper, who I'm sad to say Hugo Lloris has been stretchered off if he joined us late, but being injured by making a mistake, he let go of the ball and got injured. And Pi, well, not so great, put the ball in, couldn't believe his luck, but Lloris's bad week has just got even worse. As Son plays the ball around, I'll give you a rundown of the officials later. We joined about half a minute into the first half, and as Kane goes around the corner with 1 or 2 technical difficulties trying to get onto the stream, but we managed to get there just in time before Brighton score. 15 minutes gone, but I could just have to keep reminding you now, 1-0 to Brighton, but I've got to keep reminding you, Hugo Lloris had a nasty injury in the build up to that goal, and he's now been stretchered off and no doubt taken to hospital down in Brighton, and I'm sure the people down at Brighton will do a very good job there, and we wish Hugo Lloris all the best. There's an offside flag against Sissoko on the far side. Let me give you the 2 assistants. We've already touched on the referee, John Moss. He comes from West Yorkshire. The 2 assistants are Mark Perry on the far side, Simon Bennett on the far. The 4th official today is Robert Jones. The VAR referee is Andy Gillett, and the VAR assistant is Andy Halliday, and this is their 5th meeting today. Brighton have yet to win out of the previous 4. Spurs have won 3, 2 at home, or admittedly at Wembley, and 1 away at the Amex last season. They did the double over Brighton last season. The only draw, actually, the only time Brighton took points was back in December 2017, a 1-1 draw with Spurs at the Amex Stadium, as Matt Ryan now has Football News has subscribed, and it's been confirmed on my YouTube account. Thank you very much for all the subscriptions and all the listenership and your support over the last few weeks. It's been nice just to get back on YouTube, and I always enjoy myself when I come onto YouTube and do the football. It's an horrific injury, and I think it's a sad sight, and I just hope it's nothing. I hope it's a precautionary measure and nothing too serious. But if we get any news on the extent of Lloris's injury before 20 to 3, we'll bring it to you, because that's when we'll be coming off the air for the afternoon. And it's Brighton's fastest ever goal ever. Now Mopai trying to lead another attack going, and so too was Aaron Moy, but he's lost the possession. Sissoko has managed to hit the ball forward down the right hand channel, but there's nobody further forward, and Ryan could comfortably take that inside his penalty area and bowl the ball out, I should say. We've had 17.5 minutes of the first half, but 5.5 of which have been there's going to be quite a big chunk of stoppage time, let me tell you, if you've joined us late, because Hugo Lloris, in making a mistake which led to the opening goal for Brighton, scored by Mopai, injured himself when dropping a ball from a cross, I think from the far side. It was Aaron Moy, I think, with the cross from the left hand side, and injured himself. It was an horrific injury, it has to be said. Mopai put the ball in the back of the net. The goal obviously had to count because it was a fair goal, and as that ball's played back behind there, and Spurs really aren't getting their brain together. Now Undembele, can he find something? So Lloris, they took 5.5 minutes to get the medical teams to get him onto the stretcher safely and calmly, and gas and air was administered, and we just hope it's not too serious, but I've got a sneaky suspicion it might be. Finds Christian Eriksen. A lot will be expected from him now this afternoon. Eriksen deep inside Tottenham territory. Just to remind you, Spurs in the light blue, Brighton in the white and blue stripes. 19 minutes of the first half gone. But as I said, big chunk of stoppage time at the end of the first half. We'll keep reminding you guys, if you haven't heard already, about Hugo Lloris. And then if we get any updates on Lloris's injury, we'll bring it to you if we get any news. Meanwhile, we've got another 2 players down on the floor already at this point in time, and bit of a clash of heads as Moy hit that ball forward. It's Mopai and Vertonghen involved. Purely accidental clash there, and yeah, they didn't know where each other was, and you could tell that Mopai had only eyes for the ball, and then just backed his head, unfortunately for Vertonghen, into the back of Vertonghen. Purely accidental, of course. We're coming up to 20 minutes gone. Hello Lorenzo, good afternoon to you. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to, please hit the subscription button and also hit the notification bell for future videos, FIFA videos and videos to camera and goodness knows what else. There's a nice one on Coronation Street and that demise as well, if you want to watch that, if you're a non-football fan. A bit later on, if you're a big fan of Corrie. Do you think Corrie's gone rubbish? Well, I'll give you my reasons. That was a video I did the other week, so check that out if you're not a football fan. I try and cater for non-football fans if I can. Meanwhile, Jan Vertonghen is injured at the moment. We've brought you 20 goals now live on this YouTube channel. That's a little statistic. And a little statistic that almost passed me by in preparing for the game this morning. No away winning 10 games since beating Fulham in January. So they haven't won for 10 months, Tottenham. More or less on the road in the Premier League. For a top team, that is poor. That is absolutely poor by a team of their obviously high standards. As Vertonghen now comes off, we're going to have at least 6 or 7 minutes, because that's took another 2 minutes with Jan Vertonghen. It's like the walking wounded. It's almost as if we're bringing you a radio type episode of Casualty here at the Amex Stadium this afternoon. Never mind Holy City. But I'm pleased to tell you that Vertonghen is back on the field, should be back on the field of play, and he is now. I think now he's back with us. Now Gross down the right hand side, crossing to the penalty area. Mopai was attacking it. He claims a corner, but I think it's a goal kick. I think it is a corner actually. It might have come off Alderweireld, lads. Let's have a look. No, it wasn't. It was a goal kick, and Spurs playing out from the back here. Always a dangerous play when teams play out from the back. As Arsenal proved against Watford 3 or 4 weeks ago when they... that looked as if that just drifted out, but it's been kept in. But that's a good ball back there by Dan Burn to Matt Ryan, who's a precious little in the way of saves to make so far in the first 20 odd minutes that we've been playing. We've been playing 22 minutes, so we're halfway through the first half in actual fact. But Hugo Lloris, we've had a 5.5 minute delay because of Hugo Lloris's horrific injury, and if we get any news on what might have happened there, we'll bring it to you if we get the opportunity during our broadcast, which is due to end about 2:35 this afternoon British time, and we'll find out. Here's Mopai now for Brighton. Moyes on the left hand side here. Moita angled the ball into the edge of the penalty area, and Montoya hooks the ball back and cross, and a good bit of defending there from, I think it might have been on Dembele getting it back, or getting back there and denying them at the last. Now Spurs have really got to get their A game going. Here's Ben Davies, was tripped there, and the referee's got to stop it there. That was a naughty little challenge there by Montoya. Went right through Ben Davies, and a free kick to Tottenham, level with their own penalty area on their left hand side. As we look at the move again from Brighton, Montoya was onside as the ball was played, and there was Connolly in there. Mopai was waiting. Well, this would be a great victory for Graham Potter. His side dropped after an encouraging start. They had an impressive away win at Watford at the start of the season, but they seem to have tailed off badly. Due against Burnley, but away from home they seem to suffer quite a bit. It's going to take time for Potter to implicate things on the training field at the Amex. But they're playing some good stuff at the moment. Here's Connolly far side. Connolly's crossing to the penalty area looking for Mopai, the new signing from Brentford. Burnley were also in for him, and I still think we should have got him. Here's Connolly again battling on the far side, and Eric Dyer got it only half away, and the ball back on the Brighton left hand side. And they're working the play well here, Brighton. They're not allowing their more illustrious opponents to settle. And that's good news for them. This is Pascal Gross now for Brighton. Has to go back to Dan Burn, who in turn goes back to Matt Ryan, who's about 15 yards outside his penalty area. And oh my goodness, Lewis Dunk almost put himself in a spot of bother. So Gazaniga now on, as I say, for Tottenham, replacing the stricken Hugo Lloris. It does look a very horrific injury, and if we get any news at all, we will bring it to you. But it did not look good whatsoever for Hugo Lloris, who's had a miserable week, a week to forget. Beaten 7 times, and I'm just. He's hurt his elbow. That's what's happened, and his left arm has buckled under his weight. That's how it's all come about. So this has just been, so that's what's happened. He's had an elbow injury, and that could be serious. When the Spurs come forward and a shot comes in from all 30 yards from Christian Eriksen, right-footed. It was spilt initially by the Australian goalkeeper Matt Ryan, but he got it at the second attempt. Good effort this from Eriksen. A little bit better from Spurs. 26 gone. Brighton 1, Tottenham 0. But I can now report that Hugo Lloris suffered an elbow injury and was crying in pain. Humongous pain. And it took 5.5 minutes for when the physios came on for him, for Lloris to be stretchered down to the hospital for everything to get sorted out, and we hope Lloris will be sorted out, and hopefully the news will be a little bit better for him. What a terrible week it has been for Tottenham. 7-2 defeat to a very, very good Bayern Munich side. Serge Gnabry, you remember, scored 4 that night. And that's the first time ever in a live match on the JB Claret YouTube channel that a live commentary that a player has scored 4 times in a game. So history was made by Serge Gnabry on Tuesday night. And Tottenham now on the end of a wrong side of a scoreline at the moment. I've only had the one chance, that was a few seconds ago from Eriksen, that right-footed 30-yarder. And Harry Kane, who's now taken over the captain's armband. Having said that, Brighton really haven't tested Gazaniga enough. But they'll be happy, well, Graham Potter will be happy with the 27.5 minutes that's gone. From his team's point of view, obviously they'll be distraught about Lloris's injury. They've benefited from a goal for it. Fairly so, because obviously there was no foul in the build-up. It was just one of those accidental freak things that Lloris suffered. But Maupay was every right to go in for the ball. I should stress that it was a perfectly fair goal. It was a legitimate goal. There was nothing wrong with the goal. Tottenham players, to be fair, did not complain once. And the goal quite rightly stood. But Tottenham really having a horrible week at the moment by their standards. 7-2 defeat, and now another player down injured, and it looks like Harry Kane this time in the wars. Webster with the challenge, 10 yards inside the Brighton half of the field on the near side. More of a shove by Kane on Webster than Webster on Kane, if truth be told. But Harry Kane's bought the free kick. I've got the free kick, the England captain. 2 away fixtures coming up. Czech Republic away next week and next Friday, I believe, and you'll be able to hear that hopefully live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. As England look to progress through the qualifying stages to Euro 2020, which will be live. We'll be covering that all the way through next year as well, with myself, Chris, Russ and Mike. Mike's had an eventful few last week or two on his little cruise ship. No panic at all. I hope Mike's listening today. I hope you're well, and he'll be enjoying the news. But it's not great news for Hugo Lloris as Brighton go clear again. Now, was this a penalty or a foul? Brighton are saying it was. The ball's been put out of play. Connolly had made the break. Now, is the referee going to check VAR here? Ben Davies is injured as well. It's a case of a walking wounded here at the Amex this afternoon. It's Connolly making the charge. Now, was there a push? Oh, there's contact there. Was it in or out? That's the question. Sissoko there was pushing there as the ball's playing round the corner. There's no doubt he's onside here. Wow. I'd like to see that slowed down, because that did look very close to being a penalty. Well, VAR should be overruling this, surely. Well, Ben Davies, I can report, is okay to continue. We've had half an hour, but I must tell you there will be a huge, massive chunk of stoppage time because of an horrific injury to the elbow of Hugo Lloris in the first few minutes when he injured himself in the build-up to the goal, which was nodded home from a yard out by Niall Maupay, the French the former Brentford player, and the French international goalkeeper was taken off. But I can tell you it was an elbow injury. How long he'll be out for is up for speculation, but one thing is for certain: Spurs, after a torrid display against Bayern Munich in the week where they were beaten 7-2 on their own patch. It's probably the worst defeat since they moved back to White Hart Lane earlier this year. And we were there for it. We're there for this as well, and Spurs are really on the back foot now. This is Connolly. Oh, Maupay, sorry, and Connolly was waiting in the centre. I should say it was down the left-hand side. It's his goal that separates it. It's been an all-action game. Plenty of incidents, plenty of all sorts, and goodness knows what. As the ball played in, and Connolly's there. Connolly shoots, and Connolly puts in the rebound from the crossing from the left-hand side. And it's Brighton who go 2 up. And a nick that was tough enough for Spurs has got even worse. A mistake by Gazaniga. And Spurs are in trouble. Brighton 2 up, and deservedly so. Connolly with the second goal. It was a crossing from the left-hand side. It was Moy round the corner. The ball played in by Webster into the 6-yard area. Connolly attacked it well with the side foot initially. Good cross, as I say. Great save there. But Connolly was on hand, onside, and tucked in the rebound and put it beautifully into the right-hand corner of the net. Gazaniga will be cranky and annoyed and livid with himself there. And in fact, the defender, Davis, deflects the ball into the back of the net. But Connolly will claim it. That's 21 goals we've commentated on live this week. This is becoming a weekly record. Don't think we ever covered 21 goals in one single week ever. And the goals we keep on giving you goals here on this channel. And we're certainly not failing you this afternoon. 2-0 to Brighton. And this is Aaron Moy now, the man on loan from Huddersfield. They're having a good afternoon at Brighton. But wait a moment, here's Son. Good tackle. Fantastic tackle there by Lewis Dunk, because Son is a dangerous customer down that left-hand channel. And if Dunk had not timed that tackle well, side tackle to perfection, then I think Son might have been in for something there for Spurs. Oh, he's got to earn his call now, Pochettino. We had his captain, Strickland, with a damaged elbow, and his team 2-0 down, and Gazaniga's not made much of an impression either. And really, of Tottenham, they haven't really recovered well. I do have some big hitters on the bench. Let me remind you of the 2 benches, in case you missed them. It's Button, this is the Brighton one. Button, Bong, Basuma, Boying, Yakambatch, Merry, and March. Sorry, March, that is. Spurs have already made 1 change in force. Gazaniga is now on for the stricken Hugo Lloris. And then it's Davison Sanchez, Harry Winks, Dele Alli, Juan Foy, Lucas Moura, and Oliver Skip. And here come Gross again for Brighton. Gross shoots! Oh, just missed the far left-hand post. Right-footed shot, edge of the area, and it just misses the, as I say, the far left-hand post, and it didn't miss by much. In fact, it deflected off Undambele and away for a corner. I think all the Spurs fans have deserted us. It's 2-0 to Brighton here. And taking the emotions of Lloris's injury out of the equation, they've been good value for this league, Brighton. Let's not make any rounds about that. The corner from the far side's cleared. But only as far as Gross, as he chips it in from the edge of the penalty area. And then the ball comes out. Does it? No, it's a free kick against Brighton. It's Dan Burn who's been given the guilty party there. Graham Potter must be thrilled to bits by this. Don't usually bring you many 12:30 kickoffs on this channel. It's usually late kickoffs, but I'm elsewhere tonight, otherwise engaged. This is the only game I can physically bring you. I'm going to settle down to listen to the Burnley game with family later after we come off the air. But of course we'll have the JB man in the match later as Brighton come forward now looking for another one. Go to the area, Connolly shoots by the penalty spot. Right footed side foot and wide of the left hand post again. And you've got to say this has been, Brighton have just done what they've needed to do and played with a real swagger and freedom, and they're not a team at the moment that, and Lancashire right near the bottom 3 in the Premier League right now. A win would be a real shot in the arm for them. Would take them a little bit away from trouble here, providing they don't blow this lead against Spurs. But they're in a good position, but still a little bit dangerous as Sissoko charges forward. Kane plays the ball in, looking for Son. Crossing from the right hand side. Son will retrieve it now for Spurs. Son who scored the first goal in that Never to be forgotten game, as it turned out for Spurs for all the wrong reasons on Tuesday. As Sissoko plays the ball in, but he's lost possession this time. And now the ball is hushed back to Gazzaniga. Oh my goodness, and Vertonghen really almost sold him down the river, and in fact Gazzaniga's done the same. Spurs look absolutely, I've got to tell you, out of sorts at the back at the moment. We've had 37 minutes of the first half, and it's 2-0 to Brighton. Lloris is out the game because of an injury. And we are actually less than 10 minutes away from half time, but in theory it's going to be at least 16 minutes, because they're going to have to add a lot of time on at the end of the first half for that horrible injury for Lloris, and then there was a clash of heads as well. That was another 2 minutes, so you're looking at possibly another further 17 minutes before the first half ends, technically. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what the fourth official, Mr. Jones, will give us. As Undembele goes down, it's a free kick just on the edge of the centre circle, 10 yards from halfway. And Spurs, 2 down, have to take it quickly. Ball played in by Eriksson on the left towards Harry Kane. Now Son retrieves it for Spurs, keeps his feet well. Has to drift back, but he's still on the left-hand channel. But now he goes in field. Undembele looking to make something work again, and Kane and Eriksson got their wires crossing, trying to play 1-2 as they try to attack Brighton on the edge of the penalty area. Now the ball's back at the right-hand end of the ground. Gazzaniga beaten by Connolly. Connolly and Mopai, the goal scorers for Brighton. Lloris is injured with an elbow. And we're going to have something in the region of about 14 minutes left to play, and that's including the 7 minutes we've got left here of normal time, and at least 5 or 6, 7 or 8 minutes of stoppage time. I can't see it being any more than that. And I mean, it was 5.5 minutes for the Lloris injury, and then there was an extra 2 minutes for the clash of heads between, I think it was Mopai and Jan Vertonghen. It's been a strange but true first half, and you have to see it really to believe it. This is a real concern. This for Tottenham now, beaten 7-2 in the week, and just not getting the rub of the green at the moment. This is the second goal. Gazzaniga's fault that. Should have palmed it there, and then Davison trying to block the ball has ended up inadvertently diverting it into his net. But it will go down as a goal for Connolly, and what a moment for him. We're now inside, well, coming up towards the final 5 minutes of normal time, but I think there's going to be at least another, in reality it's going to be 11 minutes plus, with the time that's going to surely be added on with those lengthy stoppages, especially to Lloris, and then that clash of heads later on in the first half. That took place a bit later in the first half, so we're looking at another maybe 11 minutes before we even we take a break. As Brighton come forward looking for a fair goal, and that was Alzati playing it towards Moy, and Moy wins a throw in on the left hand side off Sissoko. It's been a day to forget for Tottenham. I don't want to remember though for Brighton. Let's not excuse me, let's not detract from their efforts today. They deservedly are 2 up. They played some really good stuff. I've been very impressed with the way they've attacked Spurs. And Spurs now showing a lot of weaknesses here, and this is always a concern as Moy crosses in from the left again, and the ball comes out to the edge of the area, struck on the edge again. This time it was I think it might have been Montoya who tried to strike that then, but Brighton keeping the ball well. Montoya now on the right, finds Gross, but he's dispossessed by Davids. Throw in to Brighton midway inside the Tottenham half, on the right hand side I should say. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. 41.5 minutes gone. There's going to be a serious amount of stoppage time. As Son now takes possession but loses out. Dale Stevens intercepts. And the ball breaking to Moy. 35 yards out. Moy will strike it left footed but wide of the right hand post. And behind for a goal kick to Tottenham. And a further one before half time. And it could well be curtains again for Spurs. Aaron Moy, who can strike them. Seen him striking in the past for Huddersfield Town. Came through the ranks at Manchester City. Then went to Huddersfield when they first got up into the Premier League some 18 months ago for £10 million. It was a big investment. And Huddersfield could do with someone like Moy now at the moment. They did record their first win of the season in midweek on the same night as Spurs were being humbled, incidentally, at 7-2. They beat Stoke City. It looks as if the Cowley brothers may be slowly getting things back on track at the John Smith Stadium, which will be good news for them. That is a given. But at the moment it's going the way of Brighton and Hove Albion under the managership of Graham Potter and his team. Deservedly 2 up here on the JB Clark YouTube channel as Mopai makes a good break. And now a chance now for Alzati, whose shot was charged down. Now and then Belly gets it away to Son. And Son has got Kane to his left if he can pick him up. He needs to get his head up. Harry Kane now on the left hand side. Well, they need something from their captain now. Still a chance here for Spurs. Shot comes in off the line. Came from the right hand side, the shot, and wow, Lewis Dunk there positioned himself terrifically well. It was Lamella with the right footed shot. Took on the defender, beat Dan Burn, and his shot might not have been going in any case. But having said that, Lewis Dunk could not take any chances. And that is just summing up Tottenham's look at the moment. It seems to be well out of sorts here. But they can't really blame it all down to bad luck and injuries. The way things are going, Pochettino might be running out of valid excuses here. And the truth is, being played out on the pitch in front of me at the moment, I'm seeing precious little of Spurs at the moment as an attacking force. I'm seeing precious little of team spirit. I think a few heads need to roll in that Spurs dressing room shortly before the break. We're into the last minute of normal time, incidentally. But there's going to be at least 6 minutes of stoppage time, I would have thought, for the lengthy injury of the Hugo Lloris. There was at least 5.5 minutes, maybe a couple more for the injuries to Vertonghen and Mopai during the first half as well. And we'll just get a check on that from Robert Jones, our fourth official. We'll take a 10-minute break. England beat Argentina in the rugby, incidentally. And now we've qualified with a game to spare for the knockout phase of the 2019 Rugby World Cup. And it's 2-0. I think you've got to say, I mean, even you, Lorenzo, can appreciate that Spurs are rocking here at the moment. There are 7 added minutes, so I knew there was going to be a big chunk, and I think 7 minutes is about right. Because if you think about it, there was 5.5 minutes, and then there was at least 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes for the other incident. So I think Rob Jones has got that. Our fourth official has got that spot on. So 7 added minutes at the end of the first half, which has been overshadowed. Really, a great performance from Brighton, but it's been overshadowed by that horrific injury to Hugo Lloris in the first few minutes of the match. Gazaniga had to take his place, but Spurs are all over the shop. They need a good dressing down, I think, Lorenzo, at half time. It does suck, but that's the joys, I'm afraid. That's football. That's the case. And Spurs haven't won away since January, so this is going to be a tough ask. But they would have fancied their chances against Brighton. But at the moment, it's Brighton through the middle. But it's Gazaniga's ball as Mopai, who got the first one. And Connolly got the second one to give Brighton a 2-goal advantage. I think they deserved on the balance of play, but for how well Brighton have played, Spurs have been dreadful. They need a good team talk at half time, and they need to get a few. I think they need to get a few home troops out in the opening night dressing room. I think at half time, whilst I'm sitting back in my commentary box having a nice cup of coffee on a very blustery and cold afternoon down on the south coast. It's Brighton 2, Tottenham 0 in the early kick-off. Just tell you the other fixtures that to come later, because Spurs are just going nowhere. They're going sideways with the passing as Sissoko tries to hit the ball forward, trying to get Lamela down the far side, and he's found Lamela well, but Dan Burn has done terrifically well. England, Brazil as well. That's 0-0. That's the Lionesses. And England have reached the World Cup quarter-final. 39 points to 10. Pictures over Argentina, who almost beat France the other week. As Tottenham looking for a way back in it. Trying to get Sissoko down the right-hand side. Well left again, this time by Aaron Moyen. It's been a frustrating first half for Son, Harry Kane and company. They need some choice words in that changing room, but Graham Potter's side, there'll be a few words of praise and a few words of caution from Potter, because obviously it's a 2-goal lead, and I've seen 2-goal leads slip before in the past. And Dembele's frustrated. He kicks the ball against the board in absolute frustration. That's kicking the ball away in my language. That should be a yellow card under FIFA laws, but John Moss letting him get away with that. But you can understand Tottenham's frustration to a degree. 7-2, it's a humiliation. That's excuse me. Let's not make any bones about that. But to lose today against Brighton, this is even worse. Later today, Burnley against Everton. That's a game my brother and I will be listening to. Liverpool, Leicester. That's a big game, that. First versus third. Norwich, Villa. Aston Villa, 2 promoted teams, struggling at the wrong end of the table, conceding goals left, right and centre. Watford against Sheffield United have actually been good value on their travels this season, Chris Wilder's men. And then the late game, West Ham, Crystal Palace, to come at 5:30. And at the moment, Brighton will be in 12th place on 9 points if they were to hang on to victory here. As the ball comes into the penalty area, Brighton looking for a third here, remember. As they get the ball back here, and it's number 46, Alzate, edge of the area. Looks to try and play a 1-2 with Moy. Moy plays the ball to Moy, who finds Pascal Gross on the near side. Gross tries to turn. His man, that's Ben Davies. We're into the 4th minute of 7 of stoppage time, just to keep you up to date with the stoppage time. And the ball deflects, and that could have gone anywhere. Well, the cross came in, it hit a defender. It might have been for Tongan. It was Mopai who hit the ball across. Hits the defender. The cross comes in towards the far side. There's Mopai taking it down. Goes past the man, and in fact I think the ball had gone out of play as the cross came in and it hit. No, it didn't go out of play. The whole of the ball. I thought the whole of the ball there crossed the line, but seemingly not. And it's a throw into Brighton, almost level with the 6-yard area of Tottenham, and it's still 2-0. We're into almost the 5th minute of 7. At the end of the first half. Good turn by Mopai. Hits a 25-yard spectacular. Left-footed. It was a good effort there from the former Brentford man, but it was too close to Gazaniga, straight down his throat. And the former Southampton goalkeeper who played under Pochettino at Southampton, catching superbly there. Brighton 2, Tottenham 0. 5 minutes of the 7 of stoppage time played. Only a couple of minutes away from the half-time interval. Spurs can regroup and get back to the sanctuary of the changing rooms for 15 minutes and try and figure a way back into this game. Pochettino will really have to earn the X amount of money he gets paid to be Tottenham manager. There's been reports that if Solskjaer is sacked at Manchester United, they have Pochettino on their candidates list, Manchester United. According to a lot of newspaper rumours, that hasn't helped things in the last few months for Spurs. But at the moment, the wheels on Pochettino's bus are really falling down at the moment, because they're crashing here to defeat. Unless they can have a really good second half here, they're passing from side to side, but they're not penetrating Brighton enough. Maybe a long ball might be the answer, as Lamela and Sissoko tries to chase that on the far side. He can't do that. It was a good idea for Tongan, but it's it's just not enough. There's just nothing in the way for Spurs, and I don't want to be too hypercritical of them now, because I don't want to put harsh words into supporters' mouths, but or make Tottenham fans feel worse about their team than they already are. But what I'm seeing today, I've just not seen any urgency. I've not seen any resilience. I've not seen any pride in the performance. It's been so easy for Brighton in this first half, really. The first, we've been playing 51 minutes of the first half here, and it really has been a really tough examination. We've now had the 7 minutes, and the referee blows for half time, and the Brighton players, I can tell you, are getting a huge ovation from their supporters. But really disappointing first half for Spurs. Capitulated. Maupay scored the first goal after 3 minutes, but there was a little bit of tragedy for Tottenham in amongst all that, because Hugo Lloris, in the build-up to that goal, hurt himself when trying to catch a ball he dropped, hurt his elbow really hard, and was crying out in agony. He carried off on an oxygen tank with gas and air and all that to ease the pain. And then Connolly making it 2-0 later on in the first half. Spurs have offered very little. Matt Ryan, I don't think he's had too much of a serious piece of work to do in that goal. Not that I can remember too much. But it's a great day for Brighton. They get a good standing ovation from their fans. The 2-0 at half time is the score, and we'll be taking a 10-minute break, because we'll need it after all this, I can tell you that. 2-0 to Brighton at the break, and Spurs, they really need to have a good second half if they're going to get anything from this game. See you in 10 minutes. Welcome back to the Amex Stadium, deep in the West Sussex. We're in Falmer, just outside of Brighton and Hove, as Brighton and Hove Albion lead Tottenham Hotspur by 2-0. But the sad news for Spurs fans, and I'm sure you won't want to be reminded of this, but for those who have just tuned in, Brighton scored in the first half through goals by Mopai after 3, and then Connolly a bit later on in the first half. But the first half was overshadowed, of course, by a horrendous injury sustained in the build-up to the first goal by Hugo Lloris, when dropping the ball, landed awkwardly, we believe, on his elbow, and was crying out in agony. And there was a 5.5 minute delay, as the teams are now out on the tunnel. Spurs already out for the second half, 2-0 down. And they'll need the mother of all comebacks. Goals on 3 minutes by Mopai. Connolly after 32 for Brighton and Hove Albion. Can Brighton extend the lead, or will Spurs make the mother of all comebacks? After the week they've had, Spurs, a comeback victory would be just the perfect tonic. And, well, if Spurs were to go on and lose this game, what then for Mauricio Pochettino? Sure, his future must be in some doubt if they select a defeat here as we get underway. No changes made by either side. So let me just remind you the teams. It's Ryan in goal for Brighton. Then it's Burn, Duncan Webster, the three-man centre-back. Then it's Alzate, Moy, Gross, Montoya, Dale Stevens, Connolly and Mopai. Let me give you the Tottenham 11 as Spurs get a throw-in on the far side just before the halfway mark. Gazaniga, who replaced Lloris in the early part of the first half. Then it's Ben Davis, Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld and Moussa Sissoko. Harry Winks has now come on for the second half. Son, and it's Dembele's replaced. Dyer, Son, Ericsson, Lamela and Kane. I don't do predictions football news, I just commentate on the games. I never want to tempt fate on any team. I'm very, very strictly neutral in that sort of way. I try and stay strictly neutral and just make sure that the game plays its course. Because you never know what... Football has an ability to make a fool out of any of the best of the predictors. Anyway, here's Sissoko now for Spurs. Right hand side, backing field again. Ericsson, they need a big second half from him. They need also a big second half from Harry Kane. But Winks will come on and I think he'll add a bit more stability. Dembele was getting really frustrated towards the end of the first half, I noticed. But Spurs really didn't do enough, I believe, in front of goal to merit them being on the scoreboard at least at half time. But they have to play better. They can't play any worse. Here's Sissoko, crossing from the right-hand side, not behind for a corner. A little bit better from Spurs. It came off Aaron Moy. Mauricio Pochettino rolling for more on the touchline. And Pochettino now, you know what a passionate guy he is, the Argentinian. He won't want to lose this job he's got without a fight. But Tottenham are languishing at the moment. 2-0 down. Lamela with the corner on the left-hand side. First Tottenham corner, Lamela, left-footed into the 6-yard area it goes, headed away by one of the Brighton defenders. Couldn't tell who it was, but Lamela will try again. And he'll find Ericsson on the right-hand side. Ericsson chips the ball in there, and Harry Kane was nowhere near where he wanted that. Still Spurs keeping up the pace. Now Alderweireld, still on the right-hand side, needs to dig out across here into the near post, and well taken right at the right-hand near post by Australian international Matt Ryan, veteran now of 2 World Cups and over 100 Premier League games now for Brighton under his belt. Plenty of experience from the former Australian goalkeeper. And it remains 2-0 to Brighton. As Ericsson again takes possession, I should say, for Spurs. Finds Harry Winks, who came on, but Dembele at half time, so there was a half time change. So Spurs have used 2 of their 3. They got left as I'll just break off for a second because Ryan's about to head the long ball forward on the edge of his own penalty area. Spurs now get possession. Ericsson. Ball just will not break for Spurs at the moment. Spurs get a throw in just shy of halfway. Pochettino gives Sissoko the ball from the technical area, but then the Spurs give it away, and it's Connolly now breaking forward. He's got Mopai on the left. And he's also got Alzate as well on the far side. Alzate cuts inside, chips it in. And now the ball will break for Alzate. It was Gross in fact making the earlier break. Montoya now with a crossing from the right hand side. It bisects everybody, out of play and behind for a Spurs goal kick. But again, Brighton seem to look very good on the counter attack once again. And a penny for Tottenham's forts at the moment. Graham Potter would have also predicted a bit of caution from them, or asked for a bit of caution from Brighton, because 2-0, it might look a very comfortable scoreline, but it can be too much of a comfortable scoreline, as we found out when Millwall went 2-up in a cup quarter final last year, and it looked as if it was curtains, and we all thought it was curtains for Brighton, the team they were playing. But Brighton rallied in the last 10 minutes, took it to extra time, and then went on to win on penalties. So 2-0 is sometimes in a football a very dangerous situation. So you've got to look at it from both sides of the coin. But it all depends on how Spurs play in this second half. They have to play with a lot more guile and urgency and a lot more, I don't know, a lot more vigour, and try and pick a way through. They've got world-class players in their side, and there's attack-minded players in their side. So there's no excuse whatsoever if they don't get something out of this game. A point would be far from disastrous after the week they've had. A point at Brighton is not a bad result. They'll keep their unbeaten record if they could do so. Here comes Spurs in the 6-yard area, and they almost found Kane. Crossing from the left-hand side, and Dan Burn was there too. Good ball out towards Harry Winks, who played the ball into the penalty area. It was a good little run, and the defender had to stretch his legs out. I think it might have been Dan Burn or Webster, one of the two. And anyway, 5 minutes gone in the second half. Webster was signing, of course, from Bristol City, as the ball played into the 6-yard area. And once again, good defending again, this time Lewis Dunk. The linchpin, the captain, the leader that makes Brighton Hove Albion tick, and he has done for so many years. Terrific servant, Lewis Dunk, to Brighton Hove Albion. 5.5 minutes gone in the second half. Spurs are forced to nub a corner. And again, the ball played in from the left-hand side into the area, well headed away. Webster this time, I think, got the touch, and now Mopai and Moy now to bring it away. Aaron Moy, the former Manchester City youngster, on loan from Huddersfield Town. He's got Connolly to his left, and he almost picked Connolly out there. Header back now, and Tom going to have to hook that away for Spurs on the edge of his own penalty area. Now Winks gets away from one player, and now tries to chip the ball forward, but again, good defending once again by Dan Burn. And it's easily picked up there by goalkeeper Matt Ryan. Lorenzo has got a sad face. Still a long way to go in this game. Anything can happen. Football is played over 90 minutes, as Bill Shankly once said. It's not played over 80. It's not played over 51 minutes. The great Bob Paisley used to say that. And the Tottenham fans again won't forgive me, but Spurs were leading until 3 minutes from the end of the 82 final. And Liverpool had equalised and then won the final after extra time. Spurs did go on to win the FA Cup later that season, but Bob Paisley was asked, was it about to turn sour on you? And he just said the most simplest thing is, well, in football, a game's over 90 minutes. And that's what Spurs have got to think now. It's over 90 minutes, and they've got the best part of 39 minutes to try and rescue 2 goals, and they can do it. They've got the players to do it, but at the moment they're not doing enough really with the ball at their feet. And here's Moy, who's really made Brighton's midfield tick this afternoon. Plays the ball back, and the talisman Lewis Dunk. It's a wonderful ball now. Real chase on here if Pascal Gross can make it, and he might just do so here quite easily on the far side, and he keeps possession rather well. Brings Montoya into it. Montoya chips it in. Now a chance now for Alzate, and now Dale Stevens takes possession. Finds Montoya again, bursting down the right hand channel. Montoya's cross into the area it goes. Mopai was waiting, so too was Connolly. And the ball knocked away once again. And now Spurs break with Eriksson. Hits a long ball forward, and Sonny's on the chase. But so too is Matt Ryan, who can gather that inside his penalty area no problem and get Brighton on their way very quickly. Spurs have just got to pick up the tempo a bit more, maybe. And if they can do that, well, who knows what might come about. But it's all to play for here. Tottenham Hotspur 2, and Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 down. Connolly's down on the floor. Brighton now playing on with Gross. Edge of the area. Mopai's in the penalty area. Mopai trying to get a shot off, but it was well blocked by Alderweireld. And still we play on. Connolly's back up on his feet, I'm pleased to say. So there's no serious damage for him. Or no painful endings for him today. Here's Gross, picks it up, finds Montoya. Montoya again, just casually playing the ball across. And here's Webster. Webster now. Oh, good football again. But a good chuckle there. And, well, Brighton are making Spurs look very amateurish here today. I hate to say this, but it's true. But what I've seen here at Brighton are passing the ball about, and they're getting a few all A's here. They're enjoying this, the Brighton fans. They haven't had much to shout about over 12 months, Brighton's fans, so I suppose they're entitled to a day like today if they can keep their heads and not do anything stupid. There's a chance now for the cross, low into the penalty area. Oh, he's touched back here, chance now. Edge of the area, it's Dan Burn of all people, gets his shot off. And he deflected a couple, it was almost pinball machine inside that Tottenham penalty area. Brighton have still got possession. And Montoya lifts it in, Mopai's at the far post, well headed away by Sissoko. It's a Brighton corner. Every time they seem to get the ball into the box, Brighton, there seems to be an increased possibility that they might score a third. Sissoko, though, did really well. I think there was an incident there, and I think there might have been a trip off the ball. Just seeing there, it might have been, looks like Ben Davies to me. Might have been Ben Davies. But it's a corner though to Brighton. Can they make it pay here? On the near side, the left hand side. Moy with the corner into the 6-yard area. Punched away brilliantly there by Gazzaniga. And now Webster now on the chase back for Brighton. Can they score that third goal? 10 minutes into the second half. It still remains 2-0. Mopai after 3 minutes, and Connolly after 32, putting Brighton in command. That's a handball by Moy, surely on the near side, inside the Tottenham half, and a free kick, surely to Spurs there. In fact, it's not. It's been given as a throw-in, but it did clearly come off Moy's hand. Mind you, Spurs have possession regardless. Sissoko, what they do with that possession? He had to. It was in a bit of a cul-de-sac, and he chipped the ball back brilliantly there to goalkeeper Gazzaniga, who replaced Lloris. It was a sad injury. Let's hope it's not too serious. It's an elbow that we believe he's damaged, if news reports are to be believed. But it did look a horrible tackle, and it did look a horrible injury, I should say. No bad tackling, by the way. As the ball comes back to the goalkeeper, Ryan, who kicks away, and the ball headed forward. Now a chance here for Son. Son needs to motor. He's usually a player that's in good form. He's won his team a free kick 25 yards from goal, and the referee's not happy. Son trying to take it quickly, but Brighton not allowing him to do so. In fact, it was Lamela, and a yellow card has been issued. I think it's Dale Stevens who's got the yellow card. It was his foul initially on Eric Lamela, and then when he tried to take the free kick, Stevens just blatantly gets in his way, and that's cheating in my opinion. Free kick it is now to Tottenham, and it's a silly thing for Brighton to do really, because they're in control. They've got a good lead, decent lead, and they don't want to be doing silly little things like that, because they could be in danger themselves of losing discipline. We've had 57 minutes in the match, not forgetting the 5.5 minutes of stoppage time we had at the end of the first period, of course. Spurs have a free kick. Will it be the right foot of Lamela or the left foot of Ericsson? It's 35 yards out, and it's more or less dead central, maybe 30 yards, possibly even more. Ericsson strikes it, hits the wall. The wall did its job there for Brighton. Stay firm and got in the way of the effort. Here's Winks though on the far side. Winks has to check back, gets the crossing. It's a poor cross, headed away quite easily there by Lewis Dunk for Brighton, and that's going to be a foul there on Connolly, and a free kick to Brighton, and deep inside, or just in 20 yards from halfway, and that'll give them a chance now to clear their lines for a spell now. Connolly did magnificently well, and just gives Brighton, as I say, that opportunity now to clear their lines and try and have a little bit of respite here, because Spurs will come at them now. We're coming up to 58 minutes of the game, and it's all happening here. It's all happened at the Amex. Remember, Burnley will be keeping a close watch on. If they do win the game, they'll go up to 12, I believe. With a win, that will get them away from the bottom three for the time being, at least. But here come Brighton again. This is Dan Burn, the man they got from Fulham. Decent signing as well. Infield, once again to Dale Stevens, who's just picked up a yellow card, of course, for unsporting conduct, and of course he gave away the free kick which led to the free kick. Anyway, here's a chance now for Aaron Moy. He's been more or less unplayable this afternoon. He's had a good afternoon, the on-loan man from Huddersfield. Started off his career, as I say, at Manchester City. Australian player as well. Plays for the Australia team along with his colleague Matt Ryan. We've had 59 minutes now. We've almost had an hour. And Pochettino is down to one substitution left. One in force. One was made at half time. Winks is on. As Brighton look to cash in. Brighton yet to make a substitution, incidentally. Why would you at this stage of the game when you're 2 up, and really Spurs haven't caused them too much in the way of trouble. I don't think Matt Ryan has had a really decent shot to save yet. Probably going to be one of his easier afternoons. Mind you, I might have put the curtain on him a little bit. But you never know. Dursted does well. Just gets the ball back to his goalkeeper now. Takes the ball on the edge of the 6-yard area and just hooks it to safety on the right hand side. Webster finds Montoya down the right hand side for Brighton. Montoya gets the ball forward. Attempts to get the ball forward. Couldn't clear the first man, and it's out for a throw in on halfway. We've had we're past the hour mark, and Harry Kane looks absolutely shattered there. He had to take over the captaincy from about 6 minutes in after that horrendous injury to Hugo Lloris, and it's an elbow injury, and that could be a long time out. But here's Connolly now, edge of the area, runs inside and buys his team another corner. It's a trying afternoon for the likes of Alderweireld and Kane and Son and all that. And Pochettino has got to choose from one of these that will remain. Sanchez, Ali, Foyth, Lucas Moura and Oliver Skip. Brighton substitutes Button, Bong, Basuma, Balogun, Yakenbach, Murray and March, and they've still got their full quota of 3 to go at. So a corner kick, no major VAR decisions required at the moment this afternoon, and it's been quite a good score for Brighton at the moment as Gross takes the corner far side, comes out, and on the volley was might have been Stevens on the edge of the area. It was right footed, felt confident enough to try the volley there, Dale Stevens, and he did. He just didn't keep the shot down in the end, and I'll tell you what, if he had managed to connect that and hit the target and meet the goalkeeper from that range, ball on the volley, I think that would have been goal of the season. No arguing there if that had gone in, but as it happened, it went about 15 yards over the bar and a goal kick. Hits row at Z. Anyway, here's a chance now for Al-Sati. Infield again. Here's Connolly into the area. He goes down. Fair tackle there. Referee was right on the spot. Brighton now have won the ball back, and the ball is chipped in towards Aaron Moy inside the penalty area. Now just outside on the left-hand channel. Moy goes down, wins the 3 kick. A little bit soft, I thought. But the referee was on the spot, John Moss, and he thinks it's a Brighton ball. Well, he's tussling with him now. I suppose it is a 3 kick, although it does look a bit on the soft side, if I'm being hypercritical. One thing is for certain, if Brighton have to finish the game off now, they've got to finish it from here on in. Don't forget, JB Man of the Match, name of your player, and hashtag JBMLTM. That will be, the vote will be cast from 65 minutes on, from the 65th to the 90th minute, and we'll tell you when to vote for that. And the vote's about 2.5 minutes away from starting. 65th minute when the vote for JB Man of Match comes in, and it's going to be left for Gross. Gross tries one, and I think that might have hit the bar. He's tried to score from an acute angle, right-footed there, Pascal Gross. It didn't touch anybody, so it's a goal kick, and yet it hits the top of the crossbar. I'm just seeing it's going inside, it's hit the top of the crossbar. I'll tell you what, if that goes in, now that would have been a fantastic goal, and that would have been one for the goal of the month committee to chew their way over there. 63 gone, still 2-0 to Brighton if you joined us late. We still haven't had any further details on the Hugo Lloris injury, just to say that he's damaged his elbow and could be out for some amount of time. And it's been a horror. Well, if the week was disastrous enough after being beaten 7-2 by Bayern Munich for Tottenham, well, it's getting even worse. Now one doesn't like to talk about futures for managers, but surely the future of Mauricio Pochettino is going to be high on the list of on what needs to be thought about here at Tottenham at the moment, because at the moment they look devoid of any confidence or any ideas. It's almost as if that Bayern Munich defeat has really knocked them off kilter. But wait, here's Harry Kane on the chase, but it's a long ball which was easily plucked out there by goalkeeper Matt Ryan, who's had nothing to do. It's been one of the easy afternoons for the Australian international keeper. And here's Connolly down the left-hand side. He's got Mopai waiting in the centre. Connolly goes up, Connolly shoots, and he scored beautifully! Into the corner, the right-hand corner, cutting from the left. That is a beautiful goal for him. 2 for him, 3 for Brighton. And that really sums up the horrible week for Tottenham Hotspur. And now the pressure piles on Mauricio Pochettino and his troops. They are being beaten, battered to a pulp again this afternoon. 3-0. And surely now, barring accidents, it's going to be Brighton's afternoon for sure. They have been brilliant. For as bad as Spurs have been, Brighton have just took their chances and have scored some great goals today. And this one, probably the best of the lot. Takes it down, cuts inside the area. And from 17, 18 yards out, maybe a little bit further in than that, right foot sweet as a nut into the right-hand corner. It's a marvellous goal. I'll tell you what, Connolly is a player to watch now. And he'll remember this for a long, long time. He's had a great afternoon. And surely he's got to be up there for our man in the match vote. And the man in the match vote is now open, by the way. Name me your player, please, in the comment section. Hashtag it with hashtag JBMLTN, please, for your vote to count. And whoever gets the most votes wins our reward. What a moment for Connolly. Second goal today. It's his third goal of the season, in fact. And what a moment for him. And Tottenham now, in 25 minutes, requiring 4 goals without reply from Brighton to win the game. 3 if they're to draw. And this is, well, maybe the lowest of the lows has just been struck. A poor week. And in the last 2 games, on Tuesday and today, a grand total of 10 goals have been shipped by Tottenham Hotspur inside a week. And here's Son now. Spurs will not give up, that is for certain. Lamella inside the box. Can he try and get something off? He can't. The ball's chipped out now. Harry Kane might do. Kane has to turn back, and Spurs are heading for their first Premier League defeat against this opposition. Brighton might get their first victory over Spurs in 5 attempts since coming into the Premier League some 2 years ago. Sissoko now. Spurs have got to try something now. They've got to be bold. They might as well throw men forward. Cross in. It's going to be turned out. Well, it's been kept in, actually. Harry Winks. Right-hand side. 600 subscribers. We're way past that mark now. As the ball comes into the area and turned away for a corner. And all of a sudden, the Spurs have started splurting into life. And it's taken them till 3-0 down to start doing so. Dele Alli and Lucas Moura watch on impassionately. And what will be going through Dele Alli's mind already? A feeble display on Tuesday, out the England squad on Friday, on the bench Saturday, and his team being beaten again 3-0 as Ericsson tries a shot from outside the area with his left foot, but it's rising all the time and it clears the crossbar by a good 5 or 6 yards. Matt Ryan not required to even try and tip that over the bar because it was way too high, and it just sums up the miserable afternoon for Tottenham Hotspur. And surely the pressure will be on their chairman now and owner Daniel Levy. Will he be levering the self-destruct button here? 5 Premier League games they've had away this season. Drawn 4, lost 1. Make that drawn 4, lost 2 at this moment in time from 6. It's not looking good for the men from White Hart Lane. 3-0 down, sorry. But as poor as they've been, you can't give enough credit. You cannot give enough credit to the way Brighton have played today. They have been, to a man, excellent. And I've been very impressed by the 2-goal man Connolly. He's looked really good. And here's Sissoko cutting in field. And the ball back comes to Son. He's missed his kick. He missed his kick. And that sums up Spurs' perfect display so far. What? They're playing positively now, Spurs. They have to. They're the ball played in, and Son usually turns, swivels, shoots, scores for breakfast, dinner and tea. But at the moment, nothing is dropping. And that was a regulation chance for Son. It might look difficult when you're playing the game, but to a player like Son, that's eating breakfast, dinner and tea. And 99 times out of 100, he usually pops them in. That's how bad Spurs have really been today. And here's Maupay. He stayed on side here, far side. Maupay has to check back, needs support, and has got it with Gross. Now on Tayo, right hand side. Brighton are just happy now to keep the ball if they can, and really frustrate Spurs. Moy now wins it deep inside the Tottenham half. Are they daring to score a fourth, Brighton? Well, if they do, it won't flatter them it will not flatter them entirely because they've deserved it. They have been absolutely far and away the better team this afternoon, the Seagulls, as the header comes back. It's a comfortable one, and Matt Ryan is so confident that his team are well in control. He can chest the ball down and just say thank you very much. I'll take that, no problem at all. And we're inside the last 20 minutes. Don't forget, man of the match vote. The name of your player, hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM, please, and put it in the live comment section, and it will count as a vote. And if it's a draw or there's been no voting, then I'll have the casting vote at the 90-minute mark, and I'll decide the man of the match then if there's no outright winner. Well, we've got less than 20 minutes to go here at the Amex, and well, it's been a very comfortable day for Spurs, and a comfortable day for Brighton against Spurs, I should say. This is Dan Burn. Remember, Spurs have not won away in the Premier League since January at Fulham, Craven Cottage. It's 10 months since now. We're into October. They haven't won a single away league game since then. Exclude the Champions League heroics in Amsterdam and all that sort of thing. Away from home in the Premier League, Spurs have been feeble. And here they come again now, looking for something. Now then, a chance now inside the area. Surely now for Tottenham. Oh, it's over the bar. It's over the bar from, guess who? Harry Kane. He got the ball on the right, cut inside, left foot. Dangerous position. 99 times out of 100, he buries those in his sleep. But today, he doesn't seem... He's well off kilter like the rest of the guys. Let's hope he's not in this sort of form for England next week. Then we will be scraping the barrel. Well, Pochettino now with less than 20 minutes to go, 71 and a half minutes played, has to make the final change. And to be fair, Graham Potter hasn't really seen the use of putting on a substitute. He might put on a couple towards the end just to kill off a bit of time maybe, and he's bought himself that right to do so. His team have done that for him today, and they've spoken very well for him. You know, there were a few lingering question marks about the form, but Brighton seems to be back to their very good best, and they sort of the form of 2 years ago when they were back in the Premier League and they were beating top flight teams. I remember covering a game on a Sunday when they beat Arsene Wenger's Arsenal and should have won by more, and they hung on for a 2-1 result. It was probably one of their bestest days. I think they've beaten Manchester United here before. So beating the bigger teams is nothing strange for Brighton and Hove Albion. They've deserved their lead, and Sissoko clearly muscles off Maupay there. And the Spurs are about to make their final substitution. And it's Son. Completely ineffective now then. What can Lucas Moura do here? It's going to be tough fast now to even get a point. Let alone get 3. They need to score 4. They need to score 4 times without any extra reply from Brighton to grab a win. And they need to score 3 goals without any reply from Brighton to nick a draw. This is the task that's facing Spurs right now. They have the quality to do it, but they're not playing as a team. And that's the difference. And here comes Maupay, edge of the area. Might drop for Connolly. He's on a hat-trick, of course. Will he try the spectacular? No, he goes out to the far side and hits Montoya. And Gross now crosses into the area. Maupay's there with a good header away. I think it might have been Vertonghen that took it off his head. And now Moy back inside to Dan Burn. Left-hand side, and he goes down. That's a foul. Silly foul from Sissoko. And Spurs this afternoon is going from worse to poor. Silly foul. It's Alderweireld, in fact, who gets a little flick on that. Otherwise, Mopa's in for his second. And to be honest with you, Brighton deserve to be more than the 3-up. They've played with a swagger, they've played as a team, they've played with confidence. They haven't really given reputation a second's thought. They've got on with the game, played to their strengths, and now got themselves this 3-goal buffer that they totally and utterly, on balance of play, richly deserve. 16 minutes to go. Tottenham 3-0 down, needing a miracle, needing 3 goals and a few snookers to get back into this one. Moy with a 3 kick from the left-hand side, just too much whip on it, and behind past the right-hand post, and behind for a Tottenham goal kick. It still remains Brighton and Hove Albion 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0, and it really is a trying afternoon. It really is a trying afternoon. I'll bring you the Burnley lineup in a second or two as well, because Burnley are playing later this afternoon. I'll give you the Burnley lineup for all the Clarets. We are still a Burnley channel, regardless of what you think, and I'll give you the team news from that game. So Nick Pope is in goal for the Clarets. Lawton, Tarkowski, me and Peters are the back four. As another Tottenham attack, you'll be not surprised to hear, breaks down. In the midfield, it's Gudmundsson, McNeil, Henrik and Westwood. So Henrik comes in for the injured Jack Corky, who hurt himself at Aston Villa last week. Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes up front. On the bench for the Clarets this afternoon, Hart, Taylor, Long, Brady, Lennon, Rodriguez and Matty Vidra. We'll check the Everton team very quickly. Another ball out of play. Pickford in goal, the England keeper. It's Keane against his old club. Luca Dean, Yerry Mina and Seamus Coleman, the captain. Then it's with Charlton, Delph, Sigurdsson, Ewelby and Schneiderlin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin in goal. And then it's Marcel, Holgate, Sidibe, Gomez, Tom Davis, Bernard and Moise Keane on the bench. That's the Burnley against Everton team. They kick off in just over 50 minutes from now up at Turf Moor, and a game I'll be listening to along with my brother this afternoon. So we're inside the last quarter of an hour here at the Amex Stadium. A great result for Brighton and Hove Albion if they can just hold on to what they've got. England winning against Argentina and booking themselves a knockout round stage in the Rugby World Cup. It's been a great day for English rugby. It's been a great day for Brighton and Hove Albion. 3-0 ahead, and they played superbly well. I don't think there's much doubt about that. They've really harassed and harried Tottenham from the word go, and they've been absolutely good value. And on the break again, go again, and Mopai almost getting the ball inside the area, but again last-ditch defending there from Jan Vertonghen, stopping Spurs from being even further humiliated. And a free kick has been given. What's he been given? Is it a free kick to Spurs? No, it's a free kick against Spurs. 77 minutes almost played. And Tottenham are looking very, very weary, very tired. And now there are going to be sections of the media calling for Pochettino's head. There'll be supporters gunning for him as well. I'll tell you one set of supporters will be loving this, Arsenal fans. And here's now Mopai inside the penalty area. Mopai has to control it, and he goes down, but he goes down half-heartedly, to be fair. Never a penalty. Definitely a goal kick to Tottenham. But they're 3-0 down and in need of a helping hand here. They need 3 goals and a flurry of snookers if they're going to get anything from this game, even a point. This is how difficult it has been for them this afternoon here on the Game Live. On a Saturday lunchtime, oh dear me, Connolly almost getting in there and almost putting it an even dampener on this. And it's an aggregate 7 conceded in the Champions League, another 3 today. So I've described 11 goals, 10 goals in fact, going in against Spurs this week alone. And if you take the 19, we've had 22 goals already that have been scored live on the JB Claret YouTube channel, and I have to say 10 of the 22 have come against Tottenham. So I'm sorry, Spurs fans. I don't mean to rub the nose in it, but this is unprecedented for a channel, for our YouTube channel, to actually have 22 live commentaries of goals going in. It's a big thing for us, and I've got to tell you that this has been one of the most goal-flurry weeks of live football we've ever covered on the JB Claret YouTube channel in nearly 4 years. of doing all this. Here comes Spurs looking for a consolation. A long ball in by Ericsson, looking for Winks, but it's well cut out by Matt Ryan, who's had a marvellous game. But he hasn't had to do too much really, and he's just taken his time and then just said, oh well, sod it, I'll boot it out of play. In fact, Connolly's down actually with an injury. Whatever happens now from now on in, he's had a day to remember, and he's going to come off now, and he's getting a great ovation from at least 3.5 sides of this Amex Stadium. The first goal, his initial shot was saved, nice cross in, and then the second one, what a goal! This was the best goal of the day for me, of the match. On right foot, 20 inside the area, right foot shot, aim past the keeper, and he's look at that, and that's the difference between Tottenham side and Brighton side. Brighton look a together side this afternoon. That's my opinion. Bissanka has now come on, or Bissouma, sorry, has come on, and now Brighton looking to stick the knife in further to Tottenham's wounds. It really has been one of those afternoons where you have to see it really to believe it. Like we did on Tuesday with all those goals going in against them against Bayern Munich. And here's Alzate. He's had a decent game and he's turned his man nicely. Brighton are playing some really good stuff here at the moment. I cannot emphasise the fact enough. Tottenham have been, by their standards, of a really poor quality. And it just hasn't been their day. As the long ball comes in, Mopai took that down well, and there was surely a handball, but the ball breaks kindly now for Brighton. And he almost laid in Mopai, and Mopai dances and stamps his feet in frustration there. Just overcut the pass there, Aaron Moy. Less than 10 minutes left to play, and it's now a case of damage limitation, I'm afraid, for Tottenham Hotspur. Brighton have just absolutely slaughtered them today. They have been ruthless in front of goal, Brighton. Spurs, when they've had their few chances, they've been terrible. Now Sissoko trying to mastermind another attack. I'll need more than a mastermind to get back into this one. Ericsson raising out towards the near side. Tottenham just devoid of any confidence or any ideas. 81 minutes played, 9 to go. Brighton 3, Tottenham 0. It's looking very ominous now for Tottenham Hotspur. 2 awful defeats inside a week, both on this YouTube channel. And where do they go from here now, Spurs? They've had a lot of the possession, mind you, 52% to 48%, just a little bit. But Brighton have been very deadly in front of goal. They've had 5 shots on target compared to Spurs 1. And that in theory has been the difference. They've had 5 on goal, with 5 shots on target. Brighton have scored 3. So they've scored practically about 60% of their shots on target, more or less, and which is quite a good ratio. Here's a chance for Moura inside the area. Lucas Moura for Spurs. What a save that was from Matt Ryan. He ghosted in through the centre into the penalty area. Got 1-1 with Matt Ryan, and the Australian stood up big and made a magnificent save. And denies Lucas Moura from practically point-blank range inside the 6-yard area there. And that was the first piece of real work that Matt Ryan has had to do. And he's had to wait 82 minutes for that. And that just shows how dreadful Spurs have been up until this point. Here's Alzate. And he plays the ball into the middle. And now Gross has it. And they're just... Well, even if they had conceded then, Brighton, it would not have rained on their parade this afternoon. Let's face it, Spurs, even with their team, would have been looking down the barrel of a defeat anyway. But there will be questions asked. There will be an inquest into what's gone on in the last couple of matches for Tottenham. And if some sections of the media are to be believed, will Pochettino be following? Will he be going out the exit door? Could have gone to Old Trafford a few months ago, but he didn't. And here's now Alzate. Can Brighton really finish with a flourish and score a 4th? If they did, it wouldn't surprise me in the least, because they've been fantastic. Here's Bissouma. Montoya's is an outlet on the far side. And lovely ball in Mopai, almost getting the 1-2 back there from Aaron Moy. He's had a super game. Man in the match award. You've scored about 7 minutes to vote for your man in the match. Meanwhile, Brighton coming forward looking for a fourth. And it's an easy save in the end. It was Webster's shot as he bundled in down the right hand side and well fielded there by Gazaniga. If you want to vote for man in the match, the JB man in the match, name of your player, hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM. And you've got until the 90 minutes. So in essence, you've got 6 minutes to vote if you want to vote for man in the match. But if there's no outright winner, then I get the casting vote. And at the moment, I would have to say, if it was me, I'd be going for Connolly as the man in the match. He's played out of his skin today, Connolly. He's had a marvellous game, and I think he deserves a lot of praise. As Brighton come forward again, and another effort there from Mopai. That's well stopped there, and then another shot coming in. This time well saved. And it's just not been Spurs' day, but Aaron Connolly, what a game he's had. Aaron Connolly, take a bow, son. He's played really well, and I think he's probably, if no one else votes for man in the match, then I think he should win the award. If it was me on the casting vote, it might not come to the casting vote yet. But if you want, for example, Aaron Connolly to win man in the match, just write the word Connolly, hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM, and that counts as your vote. If you want that, you've got just less than 5 minutes to vote. So anyway, here comes Tottenham now with Lamella back inside to Kane. Kane back to Mora. Ericsson is there if he needs. Mora with the shot and another good save there and away to the left hand side there by Matt Ryan, who absolutely has a right go at his defenders there, screams for them to get out. And he's made two magnificent saves in the space of 3 minutes there, the Australian. Tremendous save there. Mora's effort there from left-footed effort, heading towards the right-hand corner of the net, but Ryan diving away to his left. Made an extraordinary save there. And he's made two magnificent saves to keep that clean sheet intact there for Brighton. Spurs there, in essence, could have easily had two. On another day, they might have done. But today, it's not going to be their day. It's going to be Brighton's day. And Brighton have played so well, they deserve 3 goals at the very least, and a clean sheet to boot. They deserve it. But here's Lucas Moura. Spurs are not going to give up by any stretch. The shot comes in, it's well charged down. And here comes Spurs again. Running out of time now. 4 minutes to go. Brighton 3, Tottenham 0. Great performance from the Seagulls this afternoon. Been very impressive in winning this game. Should they just see it through the last 3.25 minutes for stoppage time? All they've got to do is just stay professional and not give anything away. Here's Aaron Moy now. He's had a marvellous game, the former Man City man on the loan from Huddersfield Town, of course. Ball back to Matt Ryan. Ryan, who's made 2 super saves in the last 4 or 5 minutes just to keep Brighton's clean sheet intact and keep it at 0 for Spurs. He's played marvellously well when he's needed to, the Australian. He's done magnificently well. I don't think there's any two ways about that. He's had a marvellous game, Matt Ryan. Let's appreciate his save again from Lucas Moura. Right foot drive. It's going in the right-hand corner, but the goalkeeper lightning a quick away to his left-hand side and gets a big left hand and turns it away. And that was the save before. Good left-footed drive, and it hits him on the chest as he comes out to make the left-footed shot there by Moura. Gitan Bong now replaces Alzati, and it's now just a question of crossing the R's, dotting the T's for Brighton, and rubber stamping their victory here today. And it's just a question of them just playing out time, not doing anything silly, not doing anything stupid. 3 points will be theirs for sure now, but I doubt Spurs are going to score 3 in 2 minutes. But here's Lucas Moura. He's actually giving them a little bit of a lift since coming on. But it's Spurs throw-in, and now Harry Kane asking the referee how long have we got to go left, unless he's trying to claim a free kick or a yellow card against Lewis Dunk. He seemed to be holding him back there. And it was a headlock that wouldn't have gone amiss in WWE. Chris Dunk now annoyed with the referee. Don't think he's got a yellow card. I've not seen it. Well, he has been confirmed. Yes, Lewis Dunk gets a yellow card. So Harry Kane getting his way and getting the opposite number booked, as it were. And Aaron Connolly sat on the bench. He's got no cause to be upset or worried. He's had 2 goals. And in fact, I'm going to... let's end the man in the match vote. No one's voted, but I'll tell you what, I'll have the casting vote. Aaron Connolly is the man in the match. I don't think there's 2 ways about that. No 2 ways about that. 2 goals, beautifully taken. Has run the show up front, along with Mopai, who was probably unlucky himself to miss out on the man in the match award. He had a good game. Dele Alli doesn't take part today, doesn't take part now in the next couple of weeks for England. His form is so poor that he's not even being picked for Spurs. I can understand why Gareth Southgate has left him and the likes of Jesse Lingard out, because they're not performing well enough for the club side. And it's a good job. It's nice to see an England manager choosing people that might be worthy of a place on current form rather than on reputation, on privilege. Dale Stevens was the man injured whilst I was talking to you about Dele Alli. And the Brighton fans, well, they'll be cock-a-hoop. It's Dale Stevens, in fact, it's coming off now. And Glenn Murray, the 35-year-old, comes on for the final 3 minutes of stoppage time. That's going to be added on at the end. And it's just a case now of Spurs just getting through that 3 minutes, getting back to the sanctuary of the dressing room and starting their inquest in earnest here, because they've just not been good enough. Here's Sissoko with the throw-in, level with the Brighton area. But again, Brighton, I've got no doubts that they'll keep this clean sheet now. Spurs have lost the game. The inquest will just want to begin in earnest now for Tottenham. And where did they go from here, Spurs? 2 horrible defeats inside 5 days. I've really put them under pressure now. Pochettino is certainly a man under a lot of pressure here at Spurs today. Their season is crushed and burned already before their eyes. And to be honest with you, 3-0 is about right. As the ball comes over to the far side, it's been kept in really well, but Spurs have just not done enough in the final third to warrant being 3 up. And now, can they finish with a flourish here, Brighton? They've played tremendously well. Moyes further forward. And Gitan Bong in a lot of space on the left-hand channel here. And he's picked him out well. Good pass there by Mopal to find Gitan Bong. Well, halfway through the 3 minutes, incidentally. Here's Bong again. Turns back again. Good football again. Keeping possession rather well. And now Gitan Bong has it again. This man is just... This Brighton team, well, Harrison, how are you for 90 minutes a game? There's a foul there against Gitan Bong. Free kick to Tottenham. 1 minute and a quarter left of the game. Off stoppage time. And just to remind you, Aaron Connolly is our man of the match this afternoon. The JB Man of the Match award goes to Aaron Connolly for his 2 beautifully taken goals. The second one in particular, which led to Brighton's third, was a really gem of a goal. And if you're not a Tottenham fan, you'll enjoy watching that on Match of the Day on BBC One at around 10:30 this evening, if you want to watch that again. Well, it's been a trying day. Here's Sissoko now on the right for Spurs. And 40 seconds away from their misery being completely and utterly completed here at White Hart Lane. It has been a frustrating day. It's been a tough day. And they can't wait, and I don't think they can wait enough to get back into the dressing rooms. We'll be leaving you at about 2:30 this afternoon. And it's Wyman Moy goes forward, looking search of a third one, and here goes Glenn Murray. He'll hold it up now. 10 seconds of stoppage time to play, and then there'll be an almighty cheer going up in the Amex Stadium, apart from a pocket of Tottenham fans away to my right hand side. Moy now for Brighton. The referee poised now to blow the whistle. He'll allow this attack from Brighton. It's Gitan Bong. His cross is too close to Gazaniga, but that should be that now, as Gazaniga bowls the ball, and there will be no more. And Tottenham Hotspur have suffered another hugely damaging defeat here at Brighton. And it's even worse now because Hugo Lloris in the first few minutes was stretchered off with a horrible injury when dropping the ball, which contributed to Maupay's goal after 3 minutes. Then Connolly after 32 minutes, putting them 2 up. And then Connolly again midway through the second half, sealing it for Brighton, who were good value for their victory. Let's not make any mistakes about that. Whatever we can talk, however people will talk about Tottenham's shortcomings this last week, let's not forget Brighton's contribution in all of this. They were absolutely superb, played with no fear, played with a swagger, and when they took their chances, boy did they take them. Graham Potter will be the most delighted man in the whole of the stadium right now, and so will this fella here, Aaron Connolly. 2 goals to him, the second one a picture book goal, cutting in from the left hand side into the area, and his right footed shot perfectly to the right hand corner. Problems for Pochettino and Tottenham. And now questions will be asked about their future and Pochettino's future at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We're leaving you now, but it's a day again to forget. And 22 goals already this week on the YouTube channel. An amazing achievement for us, but not for Tottenham, whose fans look absolutely furious. And you can see I've just seen there what a few of them make of it, and they're very angry. You can't blame them for being that way. But it's a day to forget again for Spurs. 2 defeats in the week and 10 goals shipped. Not great. And Pochettino a man under pressure. But it's Aaron Connolly's day and it's Graham Potter's day. Brighton have beaten Spurs convincingly by 3 goals to 0. From me, JB, have a good Saturday. See you again very soon. From me, JB, take care and good afternoon to you.